You literally cannot trust these Manchester United players to, week in, week out, put in a performance. From that away at City to that at home against Bournemouth, where you're getting olayed by the away end after losing 3-0 for the second consecutive season against Bournemouth. Ruben Amorim, man, you have got some job on your hands to get this squad to where it needs to be. That there today, honestly, I think I'd pull out maybe Ugarte as a player who kind of did what he needed to do on the pitch. But apart from him, maybe Kobbie Mainoo a little bit. I'm really, really scraping the barrel here. Like, to a man, this United team were awful today. Whether it was, look, even Mazraoui, the man who's been the measure of consistency. Even Ahmad, who's been the spark, spooning shots over left, right and centre. But I'm going to speak about the wing-backs first and foremost. I'm going to speak about Xerxes as well. But when you... This is what it... Like, this is what's so frustrating as a United fan. Because that there today, I'm not surprised by it. I've seen it so many times before. I'm just bored of it. So bored of the consistent inconsistencies. To go from what we did away at City, where we actually tried to control a game away against a top 6 team, and we did it better than I gave it credit for in the game, and we got an 88th minute equaliser and a 90th minute winner, and what a buzz that was. To the Spurs game where, sure, we may have gone 3-0 down, but there was a real fight back after that. And a set piece again today. Well done. You absolute whoppers, man. Xerxes so weak. Talk to me about zonal marking. Fuck that, man. Just move your defender away. Or push him in the other direction. Is it that difficult? But these United players consistently make simple things difficult. And Amorim just knows that he can't trust him. You just can't trust him. You can't put a bet on United. You can't say that United... We still haven't won back-to-back games in the entire season. It's just... How are you supposed to build something on that? It's like building a house on sand. And in terms of individuals that I'm going to be focusing on, I'm going to focus on the wing-backs. Because Amorim's system... While it's not exclusively dependent on the wing-backs, they are going to be the difference makers. Malacia and Dalot today, we operated in more of a back five. They were so deep and they didn't have any quality on the ball. Creatively going forward, there was nothing. We therefore had no width. And therefore, because we played narrow, Bournemouth found it quite easy to defend us. Malacia needs to be upgraded. Luke Shaw can't be depended on. Diogo Dalot, while I think he can be depended on, just no. Xerxes, again, a game where absolutely nothing stuck to his foot. In the number 9 role, there's going to be games where you're going to be quite isolated and balls need to be pumped into you. And you, as a striker, especially one of Xerxes' size and stature, you have to be able to hold that ball, bounce it off your foot, bounce it off your chest, push a defender off, hold the ball up, give your team the opportunity to come up the pitch. And I don't think he did it once. And it's not the first game. There is a lot of quality in this United squad, all right? But the fact that you can go from that against City and go from that in the second half against Spurs to that there against Bournemouth are a good team. I knew it would be a hard game today. Bournemouth have beaten Arsenal this season. They've beaten City this season. So nobody was saying it was going to be a pushover, but that was an opportunity there for United to build on something. And it's just, this is the timeline of a United fan. It's just the ups and the downs. It's always 2 steps forward, 7 steps back, 9 steps forward, 14 steps back. It's like an ECG graph. It is just painfully inconsistent to the point where you just can't build any trust. You can't, because you know that they could be great one week and fucking awful the next week. And what changes am I really going to make? If I'm going to talk about one error I think Amorim made in that game, I thought it was a strange decision to take off Ugarte. So I think Ugarte was the only player there today who was actually doing the job of what he was supposed to be doing. What I would have preferred to see, actually, was Garnacho come on for Dalot. And I think that's kind of what it's looking like now. I think with Manasseh or with Mazraoui's the better of the three, but Mazraoui's probably better as a right-sided centre-back than he is as a right wing-back. He's tried Manasseh. He's tried Dalot. That you're going to have to start playing. Maybe Ahmad's going to have to play there, but then we take something away from us going forward. And as I said there, that's got nothing to do with a set-piece coach. That's just these United players just being physically weak. I said this the other day on the podcast. I was like, you wouldn't back United in like a 5-on-5 scrap with any team. You just wouldn't. Fists up. They're going to get beaten. And so many of those players are actually... It's just... Merry Christmas, everyone. You can see what Amorim is trying to build. The foundations are obvious. The structure is clear. And that should give you some United fans solace, because we're not just going from game by game and chopping and changing. But ultimately, we will reach this point probably more often than not. There's going to be a ceiling point that revolves around quality, that revolves around individual mistakes. And just there today, as I said, almost to a man, that whole team underperformed. You know, in a game of football, you're always going to have like one or two or three players maybe don't have their best games, and that's what you make subs for. But when you've got 9 out of 10 outfield players who are having shockers, what are you supposed to do to change that from the bench? And Garnacho had the opportunity, put straight through on 60 minutes, and didn't make the difference. No player there made the difference today. And it's, as I said, there is nothing surprising about that result. It's just another example of the wild swings of Manchester United, and how from game by game, even inside games, the pendulum can swing one way or the other. And maybe against Wolves on Boxing Day, we'll play brilliant and we'll score 3 or 4, probably won't, but it could happen. And then against Newcastle, we'll be shocking again. And then all of a sudden, we'll find it. It'd be nice if we found it at Anfield, but you can't build anything on that level of inconsistency. And when it comes to wing-backs and striker, boy, do we need more quality. And there's other positions on the pitch as well. Man United, man. Jeez.